Well, hello, slingers. Welcome to another Word Slinger podcast. I'm glad you're here. I'm back from Vegas. I am in great shape. It seems like everyone else was diseased all week, but I'm fine. And I'm talking to today's guest, Seth Norris, and you won't want to miss it. We're talking about taxes and other money stuff. So stick around.
It's the Word Slinger Podcast, where story matters. Build your brand, write your book, redefine who you are. It's all about the story here. What's yours? Now, here's the guy who invented pants optional, Kevin Tumlinson, the Word Slinger.
Word Slinger.
Well, I am Kevin Tumlinson, the Word Slinger, and I'm happy that you are here, because otherwise, why am I recording all this stuff? Why am I sitting here staring at a camera instead of, I don't know, off playing some golf or having a meal or taking a nap? I would love to take a nap right now. This has been a busy week. I got back from Vegas a few days ago, so today is Thursday the 13th. I came flying in on Saturday, we're going to say the 8th, I think. And it was uneventful. I know there was a whole kerfuffle with the airlines and the government shutdown and all that, but I didn't experience any of that. Walked right through TSA, practically walked right on the plane. I was there about nearly 4 hours early, just because. But I got to hang out with some folks in the airport that were on their way back to Austin, like Johnny Truant and David Viergoots, and just kind of chilled. So it was a good wait. It was a good flight. But that's not why you're here. You're not here for that. I'll give you maybe a little more about Author Nation after the interview. But today I'm chatting with my new friend, Seth Norris. And, I have been talking to him. I met him first in New Orleans at Writer MBA. And then he was at NINC 2025 with his wife Jessica Dean Norris, who's an author. So I got to meet her, and then she and I would chat in passing. It was a very busy conference in Vegas, but we did get to hang out a little bit. So that was a good experience. It's good to meet. I don't know. It's good to meet more of the author community, but it's also good to just, I don't know. These are good people. Seth and Jessica are both really good people. So I like to have good people in my life. So that's why I'm happy to bring this interview to you. We're talking about some things that are traditionally a little uncomfortable for authors, talking about money, talking about taxes. But in general, we're talking about, treating your author business like a business. And I think that's a very important topic. So I'm glad we were able to do this. So make sure you tune in for this. There's going to be you'll find some links in the show notes to some of the websites and things that we discussed, like authorcpa.com, and there's his project on School. It's like School, spelled with a K, SKOOL.com/author unlimited. Just throwing those out there now, mostly for the AI to grab those and put those in his show notes. But you'll hear about that and all the things that he's offering. He and his wife are both offering. So stick around for that. And once the interview's done, I got a note at the end, just like always. So stick around and I'll see you on the other side. I am, as anyone who follows the show knows, I am a big fan of making new friends, especially in the business. I met today's guest. Actually, the first time we met was very briefly, and I don't think you even remembered at the time, at Writer MBA in New Orleans way back in March of 2025, which seems like 10 years ago now.
It does.
So talking to Seth Norris, no relation to Chuck Norris, I'm guessing.
We don't know.
Or is it? His charming, more attractive younger brother.
Right.
So we can start that rumor.
Weaker.
And we hung out for a while and at NINC 2025 this year, and I got a chance to meet your wife at that one. And then your wife and I met and hung out very, very briefly. I say hung out. We talked to each other in passing at Author Nation in Vegas last week. So I'm getting to know the whole family.
Yeah, some of it.
So how are you? How's everything going on your side?
We're doing good, man.
Yeah.
It's been about a year since I started doing these author conferences. I started with
Mm.
Author Nation last year,
Yeah.
and then have gone to several since then. And so it's now like a full calendar, full 12 months that I've been doing these, and it's neat because every one has been a different group of people for the most part. But now I'm starting to kind of start seeing the same people and the same faces, and feel like it's more of a community instead of something just strange and foreign.
Yeah, because I mean, I assume you came into the whole thing because of your wife, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Jessica.
So Jessica's been writing for a few years now, and she was doing her author business and telling me about all the inside stuff, ordering inventory, doing warehousing, doing shipping, return on ad spend, all the stuff that you deal with as an author.
Yeah.
And I would give her my advice on like the taxes and the accounting side of things. And sometimes I would even wait until she would ask me for my advice, but not always, getting better at that.
Yeah.
And she eventually is like, Seth, nobody's really talking about the accounting side, the business side, and the numbers of the author business in this level of detail at these author conferences. You should come with me to Author Nation, try and speak there, do a few things. And so I did, and it really took off. We started creating a niche around authors. We kind of did an offshoot called Author CPA from our main like Norse CPA brand, I guess. And it's been fun. All of our new services, all of our systems, all of our everything we're doing right now is geared towards the author community. It's been cool.
Yeah. It's funny because what you do and what you deal with is something that is for some reason very I don't know, it's a sticky topic for authors. We don't like to talk about money
Yeah.
unless it's the money that's coming into our bank account. That's the only time we like to talk about money. We don't like talking. I don't like talking about taxes
Yeah.
or any of those things. So how do those conversations go? So what all do you do? What is it that you're doing for the author community actually?
I think everything can kind of go into three buckets, taxes, bookkeeping, and advisory.
Okay.
We're kind of finding that I say we sell data, but then that sounds bad because like Facebook sells your data. We don't sell your data. But
Yeah.
like we show you your numbers, we show you your data, and we've realized that really what we sell is communication.
Yeah.
So we could communicate about your numbers without us being the one to even do the numbers, and we'd be providing value. So
Mm,
you could have your taxes done by somebody else, you can have your bookkeeping done by somebody else, but if you don't understand what the numbers mean or what to do with them, it doesn't mean anything. And so
yeah.
we've built a lot of systems around communicating those. So yes, we can do the taxes and bookkeeping, but where we really provide a lot of value is to say, okay, now here's what all this means. Like,
Yeah.
here's your profit, and this is good or bad, and this is your ad spend, and this is good or bad, and this is what to do about it. So trying to provide that clarity.
That is that's pretty remarkable because that is yeah, so on the marketing side of things, and then I've worked a lot in marketing and especially for the author community over the years. And it's the same sort of thing. And man, there's some people in the author community that love all that data.
Yeah.
It intimidates the heck out of me. I don't know. I make all my decisions on instinct, which is probably not the wisest way to go about business.
Might be.
What are some things though that you've discovered, maybe trend wise, but maybe some commonalities as you are looking at all this data for all these different authors? Like, what are some insights that you've had?
One of the things I've noticed is, there's so many different ways to run an author business now,
Yeah,
especially if you're an indie author. It's literally unlimited, which is a benefit, but then it's also terrifying because you have unlimited number of choices and ways to mess things up if you try to.
yeah,
One thing I'm realizing is you have an indie author who's selling direct, and you have all this revenue coming in, you have all these expenses, and a lot of these expenses are expenses that you wouldn't have if you were not selling direct, if you were just relying on royalty income from Amazon or from other retailers.
right.
So I've started asking around the community, like, do you know what your effective royalty rate is? Like, if you took the income you earned from direct sales, subtracted all your direct sales expenses, took that net income as a percentage of revenue, what royalty, quote unquote, did you earn compared to what you would have earned based on the same amount of book sales if you were just getting straight royalties from Amazon? And I found like no one knows, no one's
Yeah.
calculating that. So then it's like, would you have been better? Like, is it worth it at this point? And maybe it is, even if you're not earning an effective royalty rate higher than what you'd earn somewhere else. But maybe there's a trade-off there because you want the control of your business, or maybe there's a longer play there. So I think
Yeah.
the biggest trend that I've noticed is a lot of authors are doing exactly like you. Everything is kind of based on instinct without a whole lot of strategic planning around this is how I'm growing my author business and I'm going to do these things and this is how I track the success of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. Once you kind of start looking at some of that, you do start to sometimes there's options and decisions that would feel counterintuitive to the person running on instinct. Maybe it's well, I don't know. I'm just gonna make up some examples here, Seth, but like, my biggest sales channel is Apple, but when I start factoring in all the ad spend to get people to buy on Apple, my biggest sales channel becomes, Kobo or
Hmm.
something like that because I'm spending more than I'm making on Apple or whatever.
Hmm.
And yeah, so you end up, even though you might be pulling in more money, technically on paper at least, for that channel, you might end up dialing back on trying to get traffic for that channel because you actually don't make as much money on it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it might not just be total dollars made. You could have something like, a lot of authors have tried TikTok Shop. And with
yeah,
TikTok Shop, from what I understand, is they hold back a significant portion of your sales as like their reserve for returns. And they might not pay you out for 60 to 90 days, but you're
yeah,
still running promotions, you're still doing all this. They want you to do free shipping and everything else. So
right.
even if maybe you're making a profit on TikTok, even after those expenses, if it's hurting your cash flow because you're waiting 3 months to get that money in, then it might not be an effective strategy for something that maybe is lower income but faster cash flow. And I think this
Yeah,
just goes back to like, what is your strategy and what problem you're trying to solve?
yeah. Strategy. Yeah, we all need one. I don't have one. Which isn't true. I have strategies.
Yeah.
And I'm making myself sound a lot worse than I am, but I for years did not have any sort of record keeping. I didn't have,
Mhm.
anything. I'm not exactly great at it now, but at least I do it and track
Mhm.
my, I know what my I have my whole profit loss statement that I can run, each month and each quarter or whatever,
Mhm.
but it's not great. It's not a good system.
But
So,
if the numbers are there, so a lot of it kind of is instinct, and a lot
yeah,
of it is knowing the right next step, but then being able to verify that it
yeah,
actually was the right step and looking backwards and seeing like, did this work out the way that I thought it would?
yeah. Do
I
you
find a
find
lot.
yourself? Go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I find a lot of times authors and other creatives kind of shy away from the numbers side of it because
Yeah,
it's scary. And
yeah,
the analogy I like to use is like a scary movie. The monster's only scary because you can't quite see the whole thing and it's in the
yeah,
shadows and it's behind a wall. But as
yeah,
soon as later in the movie the monster comes out in full daylight, it's like, oh, it's not as scary as it was before.
yeah.
You know more about
Once
it.
you see the shark, Jaws isn't as scary
Exactly.
anymore. Yeah,
So
D-
our job, I find, is to kind of like shine a light on it, just say like, this is it, like no
yeah,
judgment, just learn it, just it is there, notice it, and now it's not quite as scary. So then you can move on to the next step of doing something about it.
yeah. So do you kind of handhold a little? Like, do you bring like if an author were to come to you and they're kind of new in their career, uh, and they're just like, I just want to set this up right. I just want to do this right from the beginning. Do you kind of walk them through what they need to do and what they need to have?
Yeah, for sure. So,
Yeah,
depending on what it is, sometimes it's just, hey, just separate your business stuff from your personal stuff and just start
challenging.
because maybe
Yeah,
that's not separated yet.
yeah,
Or maybe it's separate, but there's no tracking and they're good at Excel and they like playing with the numbers. So maybe that's it. Or maybe it's setting up QuickBooks for them or some sort of system.
yeah.
Jessica's really good at the automations and the system side of things. Like she's a checklist queen. Her checklists have checklists. And so I pull a lot from what she does to say like, okay, if someone's going to do this in a way that's automated and makes sense, like what does that look like rather than trying to, because I'll for fun, I'll go do bookkeeping because it's something that I like to do, but
Yeah.
that's not normal people. So
Yeah, that's not normal people. That's very abnormal, actually, Seth.
yeah.
I I say that. I mean, but we all have our thing,
Mm.
and that's the deal. The thing that sounds like kind of a nightmare to me is something fun and challenging to you. I bet there's plenty of stuff that I do that you would find tedious.
Probably
So,
so. Probably so.
in fact, you've got a YouTube channel you're starting to
Yes.
make grow, right?
I'm
Speaking of
trying, man.
tedious.
Yeah. I don't, there's no rhyme or reason behind it, I feel like. you'll
Yeah.
you'll do a YouTube video and do all the things they tell you to do, and you put the B-roll and you do the transitions and you I tried something before where it's like a little ticker at the bottom that shows the chapter that you're on so that it looks like it's moving at a faster pace than
Yeah.
like the total video.
Yeah.
I feel like the more I do, the worse the videos get. And the
I
less
know.
I do the things I'm supposed to do, the better they are. And like the last video I did was literally just the camera looking down at my little notebook while I'm
Hmm.
drawing out what I'm trying to talk about. And it has the highest retention rate of any of my videos. And it's just me scribbling on a thing with messy handwriting. And I don't know what.
That's what I'm learning, man. I think it was I telling you about old man vlogging. Did I tell you about that?
I don't think you did.
So I watched a YouTuber. His whole thing is about how to grow your YouTube channel, and he
Mm.
says, there's this new thing, and I call it old man vlogging, and it's generally it's kind of started out as like these old guys with like 3 foot long beards, just glaring into their camera and talking about auto parts or something. No music, no microphone, no lights. It could
Right.
have been a serial killer, but they get like amazing views. Like they
Yeah.
just blow up and go
Yeah.
viral because it's just somebody being authentic.
Interesting.
So, that's something to keep in mind as you grow your channel. That stuff,
Yeah.
you know, it
There's
works.
someone who came up, I forgot her name. The video that I saw pop up in my suggested feed was her like afterthoughts of Author Nation. She's an author.
Yeah.
She has a channel, whatever. So I check it out and like the video is well done, like she's good on it, but like you said, there's no bump music, there's no like B-roll. It's basically just her talking in a room about her thoughts, and every one of her video has thousands of views. And it's
Yeah.
like I don't know what to do anymore. So we
Ah,
just
you're doing
play
it.
with it
I
and see
mean,
what happens.
yeah, I just watched a guy who his whole shtick is he does a side by side video, and then on one side is like a bunch of text and stuff. Has effectively slides, but he's
Hmm.
doing it in Apple Notes, and so
Oh,
he's sharing that screen, and he just scrolls up to the next set or clicks on the next one or whatever. So he's got a folder that has all of his Apple Notes organized, and he just clicks on them. And he doesn't. He's not even using like Keynote or any
yeah,
of that. That dude has 600,000 subscribers and gets like 30,000 views per video. And I'm like,
yeah,
God, man, I kill myself to do
yeah.
video. So we're just doing it wrong. We're doing too much. We're being
I think so. I think
too
like I only
flashy.
have maybe 20 videos out. And if I could go back and redo video one, I would have done zero editing because I went through and I tried to remove the pauses and I tried to add like transition screens and stuff.
Yeah.
I did that for the first several videos. And I'm like, I would have just gone and recorded video after video of just me talking if I had realized that like I don't think any of it matters. Maybe not until you get to a certain level where yeah, you're competing with the big guys, but I don't find that my channel is ever going to become viral because it
Yeah.
is so niched and focused
Yeah.
specifically on indie authors. I almost don't want it to go viral because if it goes
Yeah.
viral, it means that it's reaching people that it's not really for, and then what, you know? So I kind of made it to be a landing page or whatever for all the questions that I get that I find that I'm answering on a routine basis from
Hmm.
authors because I can't necessarily like reply to every single email from every single person that I meet. And people have questions and it's the same answer a lot of
Yeah.
times, LLC versus S Corp, or how do I set up my business, or do I need QuickBooks and stuff like that. So it started off just let me just record these videos, put them on YouTube, and then that's a place that people can find that free information that I'm repeating over and over because it's the same
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I mean, I've been talking to authors for going on 20 years now, in various media, and it's always the same stuff. It's always the
Mhm.
same answers and always the same questions. But
Yeah.
that just means that there's people who are hungry for the knowledge, so it's
Yeah.
good to be out there. So some of the, whenever I send people my little link to sign up to do a slot on the show, I ask what topic they want to discuss. One of the things you put taxes. And we've kind of
Okay.
talked a little bit about taxes. We can talk more. You wrote profit first, and I want to know what you
Oh
mean
yeah.
by that. What
So
does that
there's a
mean?
yeah, so there's a book by a guy named Mike Michalowicz, and I cannot spell that last name for you. But if you Google Mike M Profit First, it'll come up. The book is called Profit First.
Okay.
And so it's a cash flow system that he created from his years doing business and what he's seen in businesses. And essentially, the idea is everyone, like you said, you pull up a P&L. Like that's already kind of weird because most people wouldn't even know where to find that.
Yeah.
But most people, what they do is they pull out their phone instead and they look at their bank balance and they say, is there money in the bank? And if there's money in the bank, they spend it. And if there's no money in the bank, they panic. They find the money and then they spend it.
Yeah.
And so, just like kind of the old envelope system, if we just move money out of the bank and put it somewhere else, then we won't spend it because if we see it, we're going to spend it. So, the concept is we could have it. What if, like, you looked at your bank balance and you know how sometimes it'll show you your, what is it, like your total balance and then your available balance, and the available balance is less because there might be processing transactions. If there was a way to say, like, what if my available balance was just what should be available to spend on the business? And it wasn't showing what I should have set aside for taxes, and it wasn't showing what I set aside for profit, and wasn't showing what I should have set aside for paying myself. Then you could know at any point in time the money in that account is available to spend on your business for operating expenses. And that's essentially what this is. And the concept
Yeah.
of profit first and the name profit first is normally business owners look backwards at the end of the year and they say, I wonder if I had a profit. And you look back and you see you spent all your money and I didn't have a profit.
Oh
But
yeah.
realizing that profit isn't it's not an event, it's a habit. It's something that you have to actually plan for and do. And so if you have $100,000 of income and you take $5,000 and you put it in a separate bank account and you never spend it, you're immediately profitable. Like you have to be just because you didn't spend the money. And
Yeah.
so it's just saying, why don't we put aside your profit first and then spend everything else, but then spend it strategically. And so it's a system for setting up bank accounts and actually moving money into separate bank accounts to
Oh,
accomplish
okay.
your business goals. So if you want to have a two times labor ratio, that just means if you're making $2 for every dollar that you spend on labor, then just take half of your revenue and put it in a labor account and
Yeah.
then only spend that. And if you start needing to spend more, then it kind of signifies there's an issue. Why am I spending more than that rather than waiting till the end of the year and saying like, oh, I must not have hit my mark. Let's see what happens next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I am slowly getting better at that sort of thing, but I have not traditionally been very good at it. And this past year has been a growth year for me when it comes to
Yeah.
the business side, which is going to sound funny to a lot of people who know me because I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've done a ton of this stuff for years. But
Hmm.
my on the personal side of things, if I'm running a business and I've got resources and everything kind of handling a lot of things for me, great. I'll manage that. I can manage resources. But then when it comes to the personal side of this for me, I'm broken and weepy.
It's so interwoven though, and especially for authors. Like, you have a big industry brick and mortar, like I don't know, a custom pipe fitting or whatever.
Yeah,
And the only interrelation between the personal and business is whatever the owner's taking home as a salary, assuming everything's separated. But for an author, a creative, or any kind of solopreneur, the personal and business are so interwoven, even if you have things separated into different bank accounts.
yeah,
If something happens at home and you need to replace your AC and you have all this money sitting in the business account, like we're going to take it from the
right.
business account. We're not going to just not have
Exactly.
an AC. So it is different. And I think it's important to have that personal finance kind of foundation in place in addition to the business stuff.
Yeah, it's almost better. It's been better for me to have, and I need to get back to this, but like I had like at one point a high yield savings account that was separate from anything that me or my wife could casually glance at. I had to go through a pain point to be able to see the funds that were in it.
Yeah.
And so that added friction. And so I had everything set up so that there was an automatic draft.
Hmm.
X percent went straight into that high yield account. And
Hmm.
so that was going to cover things like taxes and cover, a little, there'd be a little bit of growth. My whole philosophy was like, if I'm going to put money aside for taxes, I wanted to earn something.
Yep.
So that was the plan. I did that for a long time. I slacked off a little, but we're kind of slowly getting back to that. So
Yeah. That's one thing we did. And the big thing for us was holiday season and
yeah,
gifts. And it's
yeah,
like we realized after a couple of years of having kids that Christmas comes at the same time every single year. And
yeah,
they keep wanting more plastic stuff. So we started setting money aside for that early on. And I'm so glad that we did because I feel like if we had waited, until, let's say, we went into credit card debt to buy Christmas gifts. Then the whole next year, you're having to try and pay off last year's Christmas and save for the next year's Christmas. That
Right.
just is such a hard hole to get out of. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was our first foray into it. And the next big thing for us personally was always vacations. Like we didn't do a good job of saving money for vacation. So that was something that we were having to pay off after the fact. And we finally gotten around to like, we can do the same thing. We can just set up a separate bank account called vacation and send money every month to
Yeah.
that and learn to
Yeah.
live on the difference.
Right. Yeah. So what kind of advice do you offer? Taxes are always kind of a nightmare for us.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's the same for every author. It's like when Karen and I got married, the first couple of years that we were married, she knew what to expect from taxes before we met.
Hmm.
But because I was running businesses, at that time it was like a production business, a little video production business I had, and then especially when I started like freelancing and doing things like that, uh, things were all over the place. We'll just put it that way. And she started kind of panicking because we didn't get things like an income tax refund. you
Yeah.
know so what's your advice then to people kind of starting in this when it comes to managing taxes? What should they be thinking about?
If so, the simplest thing is just start setting aside money for taxes.
Yeah.
And the next question is, well, how do I know how much to set aside? Because I wouldn't expect somebody to say, well, in October I made this much money and I had these many deductible expenses, but I didn't have any non-deductible, but I might have had some mileage. Like it didn't make sense to try and figure that every single month.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so instead of saying like take your tax rate times your net income after expenses, we just say let's take a flat percentage of your top line revenue. And
Yeah.
usually 15% gets you
Yeah.
close.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
if you're heavy on expenses, maybe less. If you're not so heavy on expenses, maybe more. If you're in a high tax state, maybe more. But if I have somebody who just has no idea what to do about taxes or how to prepare for it, I just say look at last month's income, take
Hmm.
15% of that number and put it aside in a bank account and just do that all year. And that's
Oh,
it.
that's actually very encouraging because I'm
Yeah.
always pulling like 30%, sometimes more,
Yeah.
because and honestly, by when I do taxes, I'm usually kind of pleasantly surprised because
Mhm.
of that. So I guess that's probably not a bad plan. It's almost a
Right.
way to force me to save as well. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. And the benefit of it is if you're overshooting it, if you're putting aside 20 or 30% and you only need to put aside 15%, then if you do find that you put aside too much, you get to give yourself a refund instead of having to wait for the IRS to do
right.
it. And like you said, you're earning some interest on that money.
Yeah.
And if you undershoot it, if you should have set aside 20%, like that still sucks. You still got to come up with the money, but it's not nearly as bad as having to come up with all the money because you didn't set aside anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is, I've had those years. I've been audited twice in my life.
Oh gosh.
I don't recommend the experience. Because things get weird. There was a point for many years I've sort of coexisted. Like I've worked a traditional job more or
Mm,
less, like at Draft Digital or whatever, while also doing the writing and all that stuff on the side. And so
mhm.
it just makes tax season is not my favorite time of year
I don't blame
for
you.
any reason. Uh, that's cool. Yeah, that's good. 15%. I like that number, but I'm going to have to just kind of look closer. So what are some things that you're doing right now? I know you've got something you've built. Authors Unlimited is
Oh
something
yeah.
you've built. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So like we said earlier, there are unlimited number of ways to build a business and an
Yeah.
author business especially. And so Jessica and I, we were actually talking a few months ago, and I've been having this author CPA brand doing the YouTube channel and things like that. And it's
Hmm.
been in the back of my mind to start an author community specifically around the finance side of things. And
Yeah.
then she's really, really good with systems. She's good with like templates and Notion databases and automations and all that kind of stuff. Like she wrote a code for an Apple script that will automatically go and grab your book report stuff from Amazon, whatever it's called, and like sync it for you without you having to do anything. Like
Oh,
it's
nice.
yeah, I understand how she does it. So she was like thinking of what if she does some sort of community for authors specifically around systems and automations.
Yeah.
And so we start talking about like how we could play on each other and how like that could work for both of us. And I was like, what if we just combine the two? And instead of being author CPA or author exec, what if it's like author unlimited? And it's how to run the business of your business, the finance and the systems and the automations and all that. So
Yeah.
it kind of came from that. And it's a little bit of a play on Kindle Unlimited because we
Yeah.
realized that with Kindle Unlimited, the readers aren't unlimited. They're limited to the books that are available in Kindle Unlimited. And if an author decides to take their book out, they no longer have it. If they decide to stop paying for Kindle Unlimited, they don't own those books, so they lose their whole library. And the authors aren't unlimited because you can't sell your books anywhere else, and you're
Yeah.
limited to whatever Amazon says your payout is. So the only party that's actually unlimited in Kindle Unlimited is Amazon. They're the
Yeah.
ones who write the
That's
rules and
right.
get to win from it. So we said, you know what, like there's other ways, and Kindle Unlimited might be part of your strategy, and that's fine. But there's unlimited number of ways to do it, and we kind of want to help authors unlock that. So it's just a
Yeah.
community for resources for financial stuff. We're actually doing like a profit first implementation where we're helping authors set up those bank accounts and figure out their percentages and where to transfer things.
Okay.
We can do that as a group together.
Yeah.
I think tomorrow we're doing like a an office hours where we're just going to get on, and if somebody has work to do, they can work in front of people, or if they have questions, they can ask it. So it's
Very
fun stuff.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been telling people a lot of us have been telling authors for years that they need to treat their author business as a business.
Mhm.
It's difficult to kind of shift your mindset sometime from, this is my dream and my art to this is my business and pays my bills.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear there's a community. Is there a charge or a fee or anything for being part of that community?
Yeah. So right now it's on School, Skool, and
Yeah.
I think right now it's at $29 a month. And eventually it will be moving up, I think, to $49 a month soon. But like whatever price you come in at, that's your price
That's
forever
your
on that.
price.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. That's very cool. Yeah, I like that. It's good because you're not just signing up for something and you're just kind of on your own to figure it all out. You're actually in there
No,
with other people who
exactly.
have the
Yeah, we're
same
really
needs,
trying
same
to play, like, really put more on the community aspect of it. There's resources in there. Like, I have a whole DIY profit first course in there that you can do on your own.
yeah.
And like that alone, I was selling that for $50. And so you could join the community, do the course, and then quit, and you got the course for cheaper than what you would have paid for a one-off.
Ah, you heard it here first.
But you're doing a lot of other stuff. Like Jessica's putting some of her Notion templates in there, so you can just download those. That
Yeah.
automation that she created is going to be in there, or I think it is in there. So
Yeah.
that's there. But that community to find out, like, well, what are you doing with this, and who are you using for ads, or what are you doing for newsletters, and like being able to ask other authors what they've used instead of just trusting a salesperson that, yes, of course, this software is going to do everything you need
Of
it to do.
course. Yeah. It's
Every
always
oh,
miraculous.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I actually want to check out the actual platform. I keep seeing maybe it's because you mentioned it to me one day near my iPhone,
How
but
you're hearing it.
Facebook keeps sending me ads for school,
Yeah, yeah,
and
that's
they're
about right.
popping up everywhere. So they're always listening.
Well,
So that's cool, man. Yeah, and you've got authorcpa.com is the website, right? That's
mm,
where.
yeah, that's kind of like the junk drawer landing page that you can find literally everything that I do with authors. So the
Yeah.
very top of it's the sign up for the newsletter where you can get like a couple of free chapters of Profit First and a few other things. It's got a link to the YouTube channel, it's got a link to the community, has a contact form. So like that's where authorcpa.com is the hub for everything that we're doing.
All right. Well, good, man. Well, look, we're gonna have to wrap it up because we're at time, but
Come on, time flies.
I know these go so fast, especially when you're talking to people you like and you get along with. But this went by fast too. So,
Oh, wait, hold on.
uh, anything else you want people to know or check out or follow? You've got a Substack as well, which I'm a reader.
Yeah, I think you're one of four.
Oh,
I,
come on.
I started a Substack because I actually had started a LinkedIn, and
Yeah,
what I found very quickly is there's very few authors on LinkedIn.
yeah,
They're there, and a lot of author service providers are there, so I'm still using it, but
yeah.
mo more authors are on Substack. So I'm having fun with it. Like basically. every week I'm just brain dumping whatever is on my mind for that week into Substack. I'm not like editing heavily. It's almost train of thought stuff on there. So it's been a
Yeah.
really cool creative outlet for me because I don't typically have all those creative outlets.
Yeah.
Um, so I've been having fun with that. But yeah, that'd be cool for people to join. Like it's really not at this point, financial tips or tax tips. It's really more like what's bothering Seth this week.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of kind of mindset type stuff, which
Yes.
which I enjoy. I enjoy all that. So I don't know if I'd be as avid a reader if it were all taxes and stuff. But and see, if you slip some of that in,
Yeah.
now you can loop it all back,
Yeah. Yeah.
gel it
I try
together.
that. The emotions behind transferring money to your tax account.
Yeah. How to get your mindset right come tax season.
Yeah. I like it.
So, all right, man. Well, I appreciate you dropping in. Tell your wife I said hi. I enjoyed chatting with her, however briefly at Author Nation. We got to
Sure.
get you back out there. You got to get back out to that one.
I'm planning on it. We're already warning the grandparents about needing babysitters next year and clearing
Yeah,
this. So,
that's it. But bring some sort of filtered mask or something, man. I came home with a free case of emphysema from that place.
oh no.
Cigarette smoke and
Yeah.
everything everywhere. So,
Yikes.
also be prepared to spend a lot of money. It is not a cheap place to hang out.
I imagine. It's all a tax write-off though.
That's all a tax write-off. That's what I keep telling myself. That's the only comfort I've been able to offer myself. So,
Yeah.
but all right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks again, Seth, for hanging out with me,
Thanks for having me.
and for everybody else, thank you for hanging out with us as well. We are glad you're here, and make sure you stick around for the note at the end, which is coming right up. See you there. Well, I hope you enjoyed my chat with Seth Norris. So, I talked a little bit about Author Nation. It was a great conference. I mean, it's improved over last year even. Last year I thought was a good conference. There's been some folks who saw it a little differently, but I felt like it was a good investment of time and money. It's a very expensive trip, not just getting there, and not just even the hotel, but man, you want to buy like a bottle of water that might be $10. Coffee, like $9, $10 for a cup of coffee. They don't put coffee makers in the rooms. So I think I talked a little bit about this in the last episode. Anyway, I have solutions for a lot of that stuff, but the conference in general went very well. The Reader Nation event went well. Unfortunately, James Patterson was supposed to be there, and he ended up getting COVID and not coming. So he did a Zoom interview with J.D. Barker on the night that he was supposed to be there. And then the following day, man, I'm not kidding. If he had been there, he would have been standing right around here, right around where my fist is, off my left shoulder, while we signed books. Now, do I regret that didn't happen? Yes. Is it going to, mar my experience of Author Nation and Reader Nation? No. I thought Reader Nation went very well. Some of you turned out. I had a lot of people show up that said they listened to this show and said that they listened to the Writers Inc. podcast. Had a lot of people come up to have books signed, so I really appreciate that. It means a lot, actually. This is a very solitary business we can be in sometimes, and so it's nice to occasionally be reminded that there are human beings on the other side of the screen. So right now, speaking of, I got a project going now. I was approached by, I'm not going to reveal too many details because nothing's set in stone yet, but I was approached by, we'll just say a publisher. They are a publisher, but I was approached by a publisher, and while I was at the conference, they had reached out before the conference and said, we see you're going to be there. Let's chat. So we had a chance to kind of circle up and chat, and they wanted me to pitch an original book. They wanted something that I hadn't already published, of course, and they wanted something new. And I said, you know what? I got just the thing. I am working on a book called The Library of Unwritten Books, which you may have heard me talk about previously. It started its life as a very quick dictation while I was walking my dog, just a way for me to play around with that as a concept. I'm not a fan. Even though this could lead to something big, it's not something I'm probably going to do very often. But getting a quick idea down, yeah, it works for me. But I dictated a short story, and I mean very short. I had AI transcribe it. It turned out to be exactly 600 words long. So I posted it on my Substack as flash fiction, and it just blew up. People just loved it. They wanted to see more of it. They wanted me to expand on it. So, and then I told the concept to like JD and some others, and JD thinks it's got a lot of potential. He thinks that it would make a great like streaming series or something. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to write that book. So I'm expanding that. It's very different from the rest of my catalog. Not all of it though, because I've got things in my catalog that very much fit in this. I'm calling it speculative fiction because it doesn't fit neatly into any one category. Maybe it's a bit of contemporary fantasy, but it actually feels a little more literary in the way I'm handling things. But it's a fun story. And now, because I have someone interested in it, it makes it that much easier for me to set aside time and get it done. I've used it. I've got this whole philosophy that I've adapted, and it's really been reinforced by my experience at Author Nation this year. It's my 4 C's, I'm calling it, and it's create and curate constantly and consistently. Those are my 4 C's. So I'm doing a whole lot of stuff now that I wasn't doing before, under the umbrella of consistent creation and curation. In fact, I created a storefront. If you want to check it out, go to kevintumlinson.com/curated, and I'm building it bit by bit. So there's only like 5 products on it as of today. I'm going to try to add at least 1 new product every day. And it's all affiliate. It's all affiliate dollars coming straight off Amazon. If I get some affiliate relationships with others for services I like or products or whatever outside of Amazon, I will happily do that. But I'm shooting photographs of these items that I depend on, the stuff that I use. In fact, I'll eventually photograph this microphone. I've photographed like this leather pen case that I use. And the pen. I love my navy blue Pentel pens. This one's black, but I love my navy blue ones. So, little things like that. My backpack, things like that. The stuff that's part of my story. So I'm calling it a curated list of affiliate products, and I tell a little story. I write a vignette for each item to let you know how it pieces into my story, in the hopes that maybe it will piece into yours. So if you'd like to see that, to at least check out the stories, go to kevintumlinson.com/curated, click on one of the products, and check it out. And I'm going to start pushing that out a lot more, and hopefully I'll make some money on it. I like the idea of money, but it's also just it's a proof of concept for something else I'm building, and I think it's going to work based on the data I'm getting so far. But for the most part, I felt like it's like an ode to all these things that I love. I wrote recently and actually recorded a video recently about my backpack as a sort of metaphor, as a stand-in for me in a lot of photographs and things that I take. And it makes a lot of sense. That backpack goes with me everywhere, right? Travels with me. It's been overseas. It's been, to a million different coffee shops and hotels, and it's got all the things I need. It's my essential kit. It's my essential everyday carry, and I've got my pocket everyday carry, things I carry literally on me. But if I'm going to be out and about, I carry that backpack with me. So it makes sense as a metaphor for me, stand-in for me in photographs and things. So I think it's an attractive backpack too. So anyway, you can go find out more about that on the website. Other things that are happening on the creation front, I've committed to doing a companion video on my personal channel for my Substack. You can find my Substack at kevintumlinson.substack.com. You'll find the writer _ is the name of the blog newsletter thing that I produce there. I've started doing a weekly companion video with that, which has added to the timeline of producing those significantly, but I think that will get better over time. I've been editing video. I'm trying to get to an iPad first model of doing video editing and podcast editing and everything on the iPad. And it's working out remarkably well, actually. I'm kind of figuring it out as I go. And I really like the new format that I created for the Kevin Show, as I call it. That's on my personal channel. You can find that. It's youtube.com/Kevin Tumlinson. youtube.com/Kevin Tumlinson. That's my personal channel. Please go subscribe, because I'm trying to reach that coveted 1,000 subscribers and 10,000 viewing hours so that I can monetize that channel. And by the way, the same is true here on YouTube for the Wordslinger podcast. And that's youtube.com/Wordslinger podcast. If you are, I know a lot of you just listen on podcast apps. I appreciate you. But it would be really handy if you go and subscribe to either or both of those YouTube channels. Because I've got some plans, and I'm going to get there. It's consistency is the key. Here's what I've noticed. This will be the lesson, and then we'll wrap it up because we're already going a little long. But those 4 C's that I gave you, create and curate, constantly and consistently. Everywhere I go, I've got my iPhone on me. I can use that iPhone to create things, capture video, capture photos, capture audio, do artwork. I can draw on it, rudimentary, but not terrible. I can do graphic design on it. There's a ton I can do with that device. So I've got no excuse to not create all the time, everywhere I go. And curation is kind of similar. Everywhere I go, I can pay attention to what's around me. What am I attracted to? What products do I like? What services am I drawn to? And I can curate those things into my story. And then I share all that with everyone, constantly. But the key is to do that consistently. So if I'm consistently creating a Substack post every week and a video every week and a podcast every week, it grows over time because I'm doing that. But the real key is to try to learn something new and apply it as you go. So every time I do a new video for my personal channel, I'm playing around with new features that I can access on Final Cut Pro for iPad, which is amazing, by the way. I use Final Cut on the desktop, but the iPad version is actually very powerful. So I try to learn something new, apply something new with each one, refine as I go, and it's just getting better and better. The same is true for everything. I learned some things that maybe will help a little with this podcast, but all that said, I can still use your help if you will go and subscribe to those things and pop on over to Substack. Do all of it. Do all the things. Like, share, subscribe. Those are the official things you have to say for every YouTube video. But I appreciate you being here. I hope you get something. I hope you got something out of this interview with Seth. Great guy. Love him. Love his wife. I can't wait to, we're going to get to know each other over the course of years, and I can't wait. That's going to do it for this episode of the Wordslinger podcast. Whew. Author Nation's over. That was the big conference for me for the year. Now we are still downsizing, getting ready to put the house on the market, getting ready to get back in the van briefly, and we got some other plans beyond that, but you never know what's going to happen. So maybe I'll do a whole other episode on all that stuff later. But for now, take care of yourself. God bless you. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, month, year, life ahead, and I will see you all next time.
Wordslinger.